CBS Sports presents Beyond the Baseline, sponsored by Infinity, official car of the U.S. Open Tennis Championships.
Trying to sleep that night at 2 in the morning, I was thinking, and I just thought I just beat one of the greatest players of all time on probably his favorite court, and I really couldn't believe I actually did it.
Pete may not have believed it, but there was something special in this skinny kid that had a lot of people excited early. His potential was apparent, but for his family, it was sometimes difficult to live with.
When Pete was really young, 5 years old and stuff, he'd be down in the basement for hours hitting tennis balls against the wall in the basement. And it'd go on into the evening and nighttime, and I could never figure out why he'd be doing that for so long.
Those late-night workouts began to pay off last year when he upset defending champ Mats Wilander here at the U.S. Open. And now that he's come into his own, the limelight is something new for this easygoing 19-year-old.
It really has changed. I was out shopping yesterday, and I couldn't believe the amount of people that recognized me and wished me good luck. So it was different.
Meanwhile, back at Rancho Palos Verde, California, Pete's family watches on TV, and support comes over the telephone lines. Father Sam may have been out running earlier this year when Pete beat John McEnroe at the Canadian Open.
He did it.
But anyone else who's been watching can see that Sampras may be the best thing to happen to tennis in the United States since, well, you know who.
American tennis is at the peak right now, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Young Pete Sampras, impressive in his victory over Ivan Lendl, seemingly calm, nothing to lose attitude. How will he deal with the drama of the stadium court and a crowd certain to be for New York's own John McEnroe? Well, it's all coming up. On Super Saturday at the U.S. Open, McEnroe and Sampras produced a sellout crowd here on Super Saturday at the U.S. Open. 2 down, 1 to go. The second men's semifinal. John McEnroe, unseeded, hard to believe, 4-time champion against Pete Sampras. The weather continues to be excellent. 69 degrees, a little breezy on the court, otherwise perfect. Let's go now back to our announcers booth, Pat, Tony, and Mary Carrillo.
All right, and Tony, I'll start with you. What about Pete Sampras? What can we expect?
Well, Pete is seeded number 12 here. He's 19 years of age from California. He's a good all-around tennis player, a fine server. He's won 2 tournaments this year. And this is the first time he's been in the semifinals of a Grand Slam. He has beaten McEnroe the only time they've played. That was earlier in Toronto. This will be a fun match to see. If the moment isn't too much for Pete Sampras, I think he has a chance to win this thing. If the enormity of all this gets to him, then I think McEnroe will win it.
And Mary Carrillo, I'll ask you about McEnroe. You've known him as long as anyone, I guess.
Well, I think he's got a good chance, Pat. As Tony said, Pete Sampras has a lot of game, and it's hard to attack him. His second serve is as big as most guys' first serves. And so what McEnroe's focus should be is to hold his own serve and then try to pressure the Sampras service game. If that can happen, maybe he will break down.
I guess you have to consider the age difference to be a factor.
Oh yeah, you got to give the nod. You have to give the nod to Pete Sampras as far as that goes. But he had a tough one over Lendl, a 5-setter that was absolutely brilliant. Throughout. Can he sustain that kind of brilliance? That would be tough.
Well, it'll be coming up in just a moment. The other men's semifinal, McEnroe and Sampras, to see who faces Agassi. The stadium, the center of attraction today for the other men's semifinal match. John McEnroe and Pete Sampras at the USTA's National Tennis Center, Flushing Meadow, New York. Super Saturday has been just that. First match today, Andre Agassi eliminated Boris Becker, and then Gabriela Sabatini just beat the defending women's champion Steffi Graf. Pete Sampras, ranked 12th, age 19, 6 feet 160. He's from California.
This is how he got there, and of course the big one was, well, big win over Lassick. That's pretty darn good. Then beating Muster in 4 sets, and then I was going to say the big one in the quarters, defeating Ivan Lendl. and that was a huge match, and the kid really showed a lot of spunk. He made a lot of shots. He served like 25 aces.
He was terrific against Lundell. John McEnroe, 31 years of age now, 5'11", 165, comes from nearby Douglaston, New York.
Find a seat quickly, please. Thank you.
For a guy that's ranked 20 in the world now, he's just had a remarkable week and a half. He beat Javier Sanchez and David Engel, a Swede. Chesnikov, the 10th seed. Emilio Sanchez, the 7th seed in 5 sets. And then David Wheaton, a surprise quarterfinalist.
While we have a moment, let's go down to John Dockery.
You know, Pat, I was in the locker room with both players. Interesting contrast in pre-match preparation. McEnroe lying prostrate on the floor with towels over him, looking for that quiet space, that zone, that concentration. Pete Sampras actually got up, had a quick rub down, and then watched the feature that we did on him on television and was laughing and smiling and joking. He's relaxed. Back to you guys.
All right, he looks relaxed.
He doesn't lack confidence, and I don't mean that in the wrong sense. That's very important, and the fact that he is a little bit,
at the ends of the
let's say, cocky, if you will, in a good way, will help him here. Maybe that'll help him not be overawed by this whole situation.
His first Grand Slam semifinal. Set to go against McEnroe.
Wasn't it cute? I said to Gabrielle, I said,
Quiet,
what's it feel like to win your first Grand Slam? I can't talk very much now.
We can tell.
There are huge moments when you think
Please
about it.
take any seat. Thank you.
I mean, again, these are kids.
Steve Ulrich, the chair umpire from Gainesville, Florida.
Ushers, please stop the traffic behind Mr. Sampras.
It's going to be hard for the ushers to ush this. There are people just there. This place is crawling with people wanting to see this match.
Stop the traffic.
Can't you feel the buzz, though, still, I think, from the final, from the Sabatini match? And this has been a wonderful day of tennis, as we call it, Super Saturday.
McEnroe to serve. Play.
A lot of these people are going to try to help McEnroe win this match.
Please take a seat.
Always amazed me about him. He sees everything, the least bit of movement. As vast as this stadium is, he sees everything.
Love.
This was only a couple of weeks ago when John McEnroe fell to Pete Sampras in 3, but he wasn't playing nearly the kind of tennis he's put together at the U.S. Open. Of course, Pete Sampras wasn't coming up with the stuff he's come up with here either.
Don't think the results of that match don't help this young man right here, Sampras. Call it not important, not as important, whatever, but he's saying, hey, I beat him the only time we played.
Takes away some of the awe factor.
$30-15.
He's going to have to mix it up well all day against Pete Sampras. Establish the flat one to the forehand. I think that's Dustin Hoffman there watching on. So that he can go for the wide one as well. See, this one already he's making Pete guess where it's going. He'll also want to be jamming into the Sampras body on second serve. There's that wide one again.
A strong and impressive start for John McEnroe.